Good morning and welcome to Storytime. Happy Monday to you, everybody, and so glad you could join in this morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Happy Monday to you, and I hope you are ready for I Love You, the Purplest. And it is written by Barbara Joose and illustrations by Mary Whyte. Good morning to you and welcome. Yes, another week, another story, more story time. We are back. Good morning to you. Amber Brown, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Hope you are having yourself a lovely Monday, and I hope you had a great weekend as well. Good morning to you, Justine. Good morning to you, Jojo. And of course, good morning to you, Johnny. How are you doing today? So glad you could join in. Retro Rain and Gavin, how are you doing today? So glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing? Thank you. Good morning, good morning. Rain and Gavin, I hope you had a good weekend and glad you are here. LBC, good morning to you, Rocco, and good morning to you, Clay, and of course, good morning to you, Chriselle. So glad you are here. How are you doing? Happy Monday to you. Obsa, how are you doing today? Good morning. Good morning to you, Leslie. Good morning to you, Louise. And of course, good morning to you, Danny. How are you doing? And good morning to you, Isabella. Yes, right here in Auckland. Good morning to you. Thank you, Obsa. I am doing great. Happy Monday from Rocco, Clay, and Chriselle. Excellent. Happy Monday right back at you. Thank you so much. I hope you are having a lovely start to your day. Thank you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you, Miss Veda. How are you doing today? Happy Monday to you. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, Jayada Santago and baby Marco. How are you doing out in Sunnyvale? Good morning to you. So glad you could join in. Yes, good morning to you. Thank you. And good morning to you, Camille. I hope you had a lovely weekend. And of course, juggling with the new baby. Congratulations to you. Bonabi Thomas, how are you doing out in Barbados? Thank you so much for joining us one more time. Thank you, thank you. And I hope you are ready for I Love You, the Purplest. Yes, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Madalena. How are you doing? You're joining in with Tudor out in San Francisco. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Good morning to you, Zayana. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Glad you are here. Yes, good to see you, Zayana. How are you? And good morning to you, Trevesta. Hopefully you are having a lovely start to your day. Yes, good morning, everybody. Get settled. Let us know who's joining in with you and where you are joining us from. Yes, and remember that you can find Storytime right here on Facebook, 10:30 Pacific time, every weekday. But also you can find us on YouTube as well as Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us on all those platforms. Daki Sherpa, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Happy Monday indeed. How are you? Thank you so much. And good morning to you, Pema and Maya. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Good morning to you, White Sun Chavula. How are you doing? Good morning, good evening. How are you? Mono, Lee, Natasha, and Violet joining us from Zambia. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Whiteson, let us know where you guys are in Zambia. Where are you? Yes, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Don, how are you doing? Joining us with Kanayo. Yes, how are you today? Thank you so much. Without the kids today. Awesome. Well, I am glad you are here, Don. Yes, this is the place to be. Stories. Everybody loves to be read to. And yes, let us enjoy a good story together. I am glad you are here. Thank you for joining us. Veronica Pittman, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Glad to see you here. And good morning to you, Paris. And good morning to you, Callie. And of course, good morning to you, Lynn. How are you doing? Yes, good to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, Whiteson, you say you are in Lusaka. Awesome. Yes, hometown in the house. Good morning to you. And good morning to you, Harmony Beth. How are you doing today? Patricia Mugamia, how are you doing? Joining us from Kitwe with Mungo. How are you doing? Yes, good morning, good evening to you, Mungo. How are you today? Good morning to you, Diane. How are you doing? Mariah, Noah, and Nessa, how are you doing today? So glad you are here. And of course, good morning to you, Ted. I hope you are ready for the premiership this week. Good morning to you. Yes. Good morning to you, Penelope Evanson. So glad you could join us. Thank you. Veronica Pittman, much appreciated. Thank you so much. Netu joining us with Hunter, Annabelle, Parker, and Connor in San Francisco. Good morning to you. Yes, the more the merrier. So glad you could join us today, and I hope I got your name correct as well. Thank you so much. Nicole Flynn joining in with JJ and Frankie out in Lanzarote. How are you doing today? Thank you so much. Glad you are here with us. Yes. Good morning to you, Damien. How are you today? Glad to see you here. And good morning to you, Maria. Yes. Ellen, you say it in sunny Chicago. Oh, nice. Enjoy it. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Yep. Cloudy out here in Auckland, but hopefully you are enjoying it in sunny Chicago today. Yes. Good morning. I feel like I've been saying that more and more. Sunny Chicago. Good morning to you. And from North Carolina, good morning to you, Siobhan Starling Louise. How are you doing? Siobhan Sterling Lewis, how are you doing today? Yes, good morning to you. Michelle Lachita, how are you doing? So glad you are here. I hope you had yourself a love you. And good morning to you, Andrea Marks, joining us. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Sheba Chanda, how are you doing? Good morning to you. And Andrea Marks, you're joining in with Leona. How are you, Leona? Hopefully you guys had a lovely weekend. Thank you so much. Happy Monday right back at you, Michelle. Thank you, Bonabi. All right, so everybody's joining in. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are getting ready to read our story, I Love You, the Purplest. And it is written by Barbara M. Joose and illustrated by Mary Whyte. Good morning to you. And yes, of course, this book is being read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. But before we go into that, I just thought we could give you a few fun facts about fishing, since our books touches on fishing a little bit. And just so you know, is that an angler is a person who fishes with a rod and line. So if you're a fish person out there, I'm sure you know that if you go fishing. This is because this is the same technique that the angler fishers use to lure their prey towards their mouth. Yes. And then did you know too that there are over 27,000 species of fish that are known species of fish, but scientists believe that there could be as many as 34,000. And of course, 6,000 of those are found in the waters of Australia. Yes. And then, did you also know that the largest fish is the whale fish? It can grow up to 50 feet long, or if you're using meters, up to about 15 meters. Yes, so that is the largest fish for you. Yes, and now we're going to go into a book read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. I Love You, the Purplest. Early in the evening, the brothers and their mama finished supper in the sturdy red cabin and set out to fish. The lake slowed its thrashing to a soft, even beat. The mosquitoes dipped low to the water, and the water bugs skittered on top. The moon glowed on one side of the lake, while the sun shimmered on the other. This was the time when fishing was best. Max exploded from the cabin, twirling the shovel in front of him. Mama came next, and then Julian. Julian shut the cabin door tightly to keep it safe from burglars and bears. Julian scooped the dirt to find the fattest worms. Max jumped on the shovel and flung dirt in the air until a tangle of worms filled his can. "Mama, who has the most worms?" he asked. Mama smiled. "Max, your can is full of the liveliest worms. And Julian, your can has the juiciest." Max, Julian, and Mama stepped into the small wooden boat. Julian took one oar and Max took the other. Julian planted his blue boots wide and took deep, even strokes. Max braced his red boots against the ribs of the boat and stroked quickly through the water. The brothers' faces were hot and they gulped at the air. Julian gasped, "Mama, who's the best rower?" Mama's eyes grew soft. "Why, Julian, you took the deepest strokes, and Max, your strokes were the fastest." The three fished until stars sprinkled the sky and the water turned dark as night. In the end, Mama caught one fish, Julian caught one fish, and Max caught 3. "I am the best fisherman!" cried Max, hoisting his fish in the air. Julian pushed his hat brim low on his face. 3 fish! What a bountiful fisherman you are, said Mama. "And Julian, you are the cleverest. Your fish hid in the weeds, but you waited. When your bobber jerked in the water, you kept your paw high and you reeled in a fine fat fish." When the fishing and the baths and the stories were done, Mama tucked in the brothers into bed. Julian slept on the top bank, and she reached up to kiss him goodnight. "Mama," whispered Julian, his hands forming a tunnel around her ear, "who do you love the best?" Mama thought for a minute, and then she whispered, "Why, Julian, I love you the bluest. I have you the color of a dragonfly at the tip of its wing. I love you the color of a cave in its deepest hidden part, where grizzly bears and bats curl up until night. The mist of a mountain, the splash of a waterfall, the hush of a whisper." The breath in Julian's chest grew and grew and grew until he couldn't hold it any longer. Then it came out in a long, velvety sigh. Mama crashed low to the bank where Max slept. Max wriggled his finger for Mama to come close. He whispered, "Mama, who do you love the best?" "Why, Max, I love you the reddest. I love you the color of the sky before it blazes into night. I love you the color of a leopard's eyes when it prowls through the jungle. Then the color of a campfire at the edge of the flame. A wide open hug. The swirl of a magic cape, the thunder of a shout." The smile on Max's face grew and grew until his cheeks couldn't hold it in. Then it came out in a big, thundery laugh. Later in the evening, the brothers and their mama slept. One in the top bank, glowing like the evening moon. One in the bottom bank, shimmering like the evening sun. And Mama in the big bed, dreaming of the boys she loved the best. The end. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in for that wonderful story. Yes, I'm sure parents, you can relate out there, those little ones that you love so dearly, each special, each individually unique, and very, very special indeed in their own way. But thank you so much for joining us for that one. And I hope I was able to share this love with you, and just also remember to tell your children, tell your little ones that you love them. And yes, that you are always there. And I'm sure they know it, but it is always a good idea to just hear it one more time. Thank you so much for joining Storytime today. And be sure to join us again tomorrow for South Creek and learn a little bit of history about Auckland. Yes, but thank you so much, everybody, for joining in this morning. Let's see who else has joined us today. Yes, good morning to you. Thank you so much to everybody that joined in. Thank you, Miss Veda, for the pronunciation. I knew I was doing something amiss. Yes, so it's Barbara Josie. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Miss Veda. Chief Librarian in the house. All right, good morning to you, Olive Oil. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Katie. Yes, I am glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. Olive Oil right here in Auckland. Terim Sonda joining us all the way out in Texas. How are you doing, my brother? Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're having yourself a lovely day. Good morning to you, Chloe. How are you doing today? And of course, good morning to you, Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, good to see you out there, Chloe. Thank you so much. Chriselle, how are you doing with your wonderful boys? Yes, I'm sure you love them, the Purplest. Yes. Good morning to you, Rocco and Clay. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to you, Asta. Thank you for joining us. Opsa, one more time, how are you doing? Rachel Humphrey, very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Diane, thank you. You're very welcome. Please join us again tomorrow for another story. Sheba Chanda, how are you doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to you, Daku Shepa, thank you so much one more time. And Maya and Pema, have yourselves a lovely day. Yes, lovely Monday. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Omar. How are you doing? Good morning to you, Bilal. Good morning to you, Hawa. And good morning to you, Zinat. How are you doing? I am so glad you are here. Good to see you. And good morning to you, Muhammad. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining in Storytime. I hope you enjoyed that wonderful story. And of course, we are back tomorrow for a little bit of history of Auckland. Do join us for that one. But of course, from me, it is much love as always. And I will see you in the morning. Bye-bye.